What's good, YouTube? And this is Sifu Smo here from Smo's Monocune Arts, and I am back with another Sifu Smo talk vlog type. And I've been wanting to tackle this question um, because it seems like every time I do a video on my Master Bruce Lee, um, there's a certain there's some kind of account and the name of it is let me see here, Shield versus Shield. And this isn't personal at all, dude. I'm addressing your comment on Bruce Lee. And everything else you comment on, you're spot on about, in regards to the truth, or a lot of truth and conspiracy stuff. But this comment here is definitely a conspiracy that I do not agree on, right? Now, it seems like every time I do a video on my master, Bruce Lee, Master Bruce, you write this comment, and the comment says, Bruce Lee was a transvestite. Bruce Lee was born a woman. Bruce Lee's parents, they turned him into a guy after the age of 8. And I just can't help but wonder if you're a Bruce Lee hater, if you're another Bruce Lee hater jealous of his success, or you're racist. Are you racist against Asian men? I mean, Master Bruce, and I take this personal because I consider Bruce, I am a highly skilled martial arts, and I took a lot of my inspiration from Master Bruce and Freddie. So this is a very... See, I'm getting pissed off thinking about it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Okay. I take this personal because Bruce is like a legend to me. He's I consider him the master of martial arts. And he is a master, you know? Don't let all these other fraud kung fu masters, all these other, all these karate guys, all these jealous martial artists tell you Bruce was just an actor or a fraud. They're all jealous. They're all envious. But that's what happens when you're the best. That's what happens when people are jealous of what they can't do. But I take it kind of personal because now I get it. I totally get it, man. I understand Hollywood, and there are a lot of actors in Hollywood who are really guys, but they portray as women. But it's not every actor is like that. Some actors are truly, genuinely women and genuinely men. Now, and usually, 90% of the time, it's the dudes who turn into chicks. You know what I mean? Trannies, but they still have their dingling and all that. Most of the time you won't see the men turn into women. It's usually the or I'm sorry, you won't see the women turn into guys. You'll see the men turn into women, and they usually keep their dingling, so they're trannies. You usually don't see the woman turn into a guy in Hollywood. So I believe a lot of the men in Hollywood are truly men, but a lot of the women, watch out for the Adam's apple. But anyway, So, and you know, and especially in the '70s, man. And I don't know if you realize this, but Bruce Lee is half Asian, half white. Asian culture, man, they are against that kind of shit. You know, they're against homosexuality. They're against um, you know, they're against all that bullshit. Now, Filipino, Thai, they're in it all that where you have all the lady boys with the dinglings, but Chinese, Japanese culture, they're against that shit. Like, you know, I think it's in China where um it's either China or Russia or both where if they find out you're gay, they you get like the you get thrown into prison for 10 years. So like I said, even if they wanted to do that, it's not. I highly doubt it. Like you know what I mean? Because I know how Asian culture is, and especially in the '50s and '60s, no. And like I said, if you look at Bruce Lee's kid photos, it's clear as day he was born a boy. I mean, come on, the guy was born a guy. You know what I mean? So the fact that you know people are making that accusation is very disrespectful. And every time I ask for proof, every time you make this comment on Master Bruce being a transsexual, I ask for proof. Where is your proof for that claim? Do I get any proof? Do I get any claims? I get crickets. So don't stop making these claims without evidence. That's a huge claim to throw on the master, and you have no proof or evidence on that. So I would appreciate if you would stop because it's very disrespectful. And let's just be honest, if Bruce were here, you wouldn't say he was born a transvestite to his face. Let's just keep it real, you know. But I get it, you know. I get it. I know how you internet trolls are. And like I said, I'm not mad or, you know, triggered or nothing like that, but it's like you gotta with bold claims, you have to have bold evidence. And that is a huge claim to throw on someone, you know what I mean? So, I mean, look at Bruce Lee's body. Bruce Lee had the testosterone of 4 men. 135-pound Bruce had the testosterone of 5 men. You mean to tell me he was born a chick? Get the fuck out of here. Come on. You know, and they didn't have those hormones. Well, they had the hormones, but they weren't experimenting with that shit in the 60s and 50s. So, you know, if you throw up. Oh, sorry about that. Why do people call you and text you when you're making a fucking goddamn video? Anyway, you know, I know a lot of people are going to throw that argument. Oh, you know, he took hormones or this or that. No. Stop. Why do you see? And you know, I know what it is too. It's because Hollywood. Bruce Lee was against the elites and the Illuminati. That's why they took him out as early as he did. Now I have a theory, and I'll talk about this some other time. I think Bruce Lee, to get away from the elites, I think he faked his death. But that's another video for another time. But Hollywood, they hated Bruce Lee. Hollywood at that time was racist as fuck. But they couldn't do anything because Bruce Lee was so entertaining and people loved him. But Hollywood hated Bruce. The Asians at that time hated Bruce because he was half white. Then the whites hated Bruce because he was half Asian. That's why you know who you are. A certain Choi Lei Foot instructor on here is always hating on Bruce Lee and kissing the Asian's ass because he's racist, you know. So, you know, I get it, but hey, you gotta pay respect to where it's due, you know. Just because Bruce Lee practices your form of art better than you do, oh, you want to resort to hating on the guy. Well, sorry, you don't want that kind of karma coming back at you, you know. Quit hating on people. Respect greatness. Give respect where it's due, you know? Like, people hate on me. I am an incredible martial artist. Like, I'm one of the best on here, and people hate on me. Stop the hate. Be great. But no, Bruce Lee was not a transvestite. Bruce Lee was born a man, and he was very much testosterone. I mean, come on. Like, the fact that I even have to explain this, it just goes to show you how much hate people have in their heart towards this man, you know. But I get it. People hate greatness, you know. It is what it is. People are jealous, envious, and yeah, you know. I think a lot of these. I think Bruce banged a lot of these. A lot of those guys in San Francisco's wives. I think that's why they're so jealous of him. But yeah, that's the answer to the question. So um, much respect to Master Bruce Lee, greatest martial artist of all time. Have a great night.